To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
So, something big happened yesterday. I'm a little late to the party, but I figured everyone else would be uploading videos on this, so I wanted to wait a little while till it died down. I'm a day late, maybe 2 days late, depending on how long it takes me to make this video. But yesterday, the D23 Parks, Resorts, Experiences, and Products panel happened, and a lot of people had a lot to say about it, and I do too, so let's talk about it. D23 is one of the most magical times of the year for the people who get to go. Me, I actually didn't get to go. But massive announcements are made for the whole Disney company, the movies, the parks, music, animation, all of it. But my favorite, and I assume your guys' favorite panel, is the Disney Parks, Experiences, and Products panel. And I should clarify that it is the Parks, Experiences, and Products panel because a lot of people seem to be upset at this.
And to tell you more, I'd like to welcome the CEO of Target, Brian Cornell.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Bob Chapek. But let's go through what the rest of the panel had to offer, because there were some really good things in there. After talking about how groundbreaking Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is, Bob showed us a teaser trailer for Star Wars Rise of the Resistance and the rest of the land that we've already seen. And if Rise of the Resistance is even half as good as the footage they've shown us, it is easily going to be the best Disney ride of all time. It looks less like an attraction like Pirates or the Haunted Mansion and more like an experience where the story starts right when you get in line and goes all the way through the end of the ride, and we don't know exactly what the ride entails, but it's going to be fantastic. And it really seems to be kind of up in the air at the moment whether or not this is actual on-ride footage or just an artist's depiction of what happens when you're riding Rise of the Resistance. But either way, it looks like a one-of-a-kind experience, well, two-of-a-kind experience because it's in California and Florida, and rest assured I will be there on opening day, December 5th in Florida, so hey, if you're gonna come on down, come on down. If Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run wasn't enough for you, the physical sets and the animatronics and the special effects used in Rise of the Resistance I think are really gonna make the land stand out. And having two amazing e-tickets in a brand new super immersive land doesn't hurt either. Then we were treated to a preview of the music and the dancing from the new Disneyland daytime parade Magic Happens, which had been rumored for a very long time, but we finally got confirmation, and fellow YouTuber Todrick Hall is responsible for writing the music, so that's pretty cool. Disney hiring YouTubers to write music for parades? I mean, Disney, if you need any help, I'm right here. I'm ready to help you whenever you need it. From here, after a riveting musical performance, Bob talked more about Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway coming to Hollywood Studios in 2020 and coming to Disneyland in 2022. I think I have that right. We now know that the facade of Runaway Railway in Toontown will be themed after the El Capitan Theater, and that the queue will contain various props from various Mickey Mouse cartoons from over the years. A new Zootopia land is coming to Hong Kong Disney, and while I'm very happy for those in Hong Kong, and while I'm probably never going to be able to make it out there, Disney does like testing things in their foreign parks before they bring them to the domestic parks. So who knows, maybe we'll see Zootopia pop up here in America in some one of the parks over the course of the next 10, 20 years. I would say 10 years is a bit more safe. It was announced that a new show was coming to Disney Springs that was a collaboration of Imagineering, Walt Disney Animation Studios, and Cirque du Soleil, and they spent a really long time on this. This is something that really could have been a Parks blog post. They didn't have to go on for so long about this one, but it looks fun. I'm probably never going to go because I'm too busy whenever I visit Florida to go see a Cirque du Soleil show, but for those people who love seeing these and for the locals who go very often, it's good. And this went on for a very long time. And then it was time Bob decided he wanted to talk about.
And to tell you more, I'd like to welcome the CEO of Target, Brian Cornell.
They're putting some Disney toys in Target. That's really all this whole segment was about. They're just putting a little mini Disney store in 60 Targets nationwide, which isn't even a whole lot of Targets, but good job, Bob, I suppose. After the weird Target segment came the part that all of the Disneyland fans were looking forward to, the Marvel Avengers Campus segment. It was revealed that the new Spider-Man attraction, I think that might just be called Web, I think. I don't know for sure. They were really vague on that. New concept art showed us that it will be a new shooting kind of ride in a very similar vein to Toy Story Mania, but uh-oh, watch out, positivity alert! The concept art shows guests not holding any physical guns to shoot the spider bots that they're shooting at. So maybe there's some sort of sensor that will track your hand or your wrist to see where you're shooting your webs, and I think that's really interesting and could make for a fantastic new sort of shooting experience ride. But if Disney fans are good at anything, it's whining about things they don't even understand yet, so what do I know? A new Ant-Man themed restaurant, the long-rumored Ant-Man microbrewery, is coming, and if I can eat any small, tiny baby foods and massive, enlarged, giant-sized foods, I'm gonna be very satisfied with this restaurant. Not sure what else I can say about it. Tiny food and gigantic food, it sounds like a lot of fun. And the long-rumored Avengers roller coaster turned out to not be a roller coaster, but instead a new e-ticket experience, and we don't know what that entails yet, but if you look at the concept art, it looks very fun and super interesting. The new Quinjet ride looks like it starts off as some sort of Star Tours simulator, we're all in one room sitting in a chair experience, but then it evolves over time. The next piece of concept art really blew people's minds, and I'm pretty sure we're not going to be flying through physical sets. I thought that at first, but I don't really think that's going to be happening. Instead, I feel like it's going to be more of a solo experience, controllable Millennium Falcon, soaring over the world, and Flight of Passage kind of amalgamation. Not sure why that was so hard for me to say. It's going to be a combination of Soarin' Over the World, Smuggler's Run, and Flight of Passage. I have a feeling it's going to be way more interactive than Smuggler's Run, and that ride is already super interactive, so I can't wait to see what Disney has planned for this new Avengers e-ticket. And it's opening in summer of next year, so that's really soon. I'm very excited as a very big Marvel fanboy. And that's all they showed for Disneyland. I'll talk more at the end about what more I expected for Disneyland, but let's just leave that in the background for now. Let's move on to what everybody came to the panel to see: new Epcot. New Epcot. And I mean this when I say this, that they didn't show a single thing that made me disappointed about what they're doing to Epcot, most significantly what they're doing to Future World. And right off the bat, they announced that the idea of Future World is basically gone, which I think is a good thing, because it's not really, you can't really harness the concept of the future. The same problem affects Tomorrowland in both parks, and I think moving away from the idea of the future is pretty good for Epcot. And I absolutely love the way that they split new Epcot up. We of course have the World Showcase, but now we also have World Celebration, World Nature, and World Discovery. It's a much better way to split up Epcot into 4 kind of different lands, but ones that still make sense in the theming, and it's not explicitly, like I said, future themed, and it's also very similar to Walt Disney's original idea for Epcot that celebrates all these things about humanity. And that's also not to say that new Epcot will be abandoning the futuristic ideals. They still have futury things like Mission Space, like Space 220, the new Mission Space restaurant where you ride up in a space elevator to get your food. That's, oh my goodness, I can't wait to go. A new Spaceship Earth that features lots of the sets and scenes that we've come to know and love, but updated with new effects and new story elements. Spaceship Earth is my favorite ride at Epcot, so it really makes me happy that they're keeping most of the classic scenes. I don't know which ones they are taking out and which ones they are keeping. Just, not everything needs to be Moana, Disney, just remember that. Spaceship Earth features a new story light that guides us through the historical scenes, and I'm not sure how the post-show or the end of the ride is going to be changing, but I really hope it does. They also did not announce any new narrator, but I would assume this new update to Spaceship Earth will come with a new narrator. A statue of Walt is also going up either behind or in front of Spaceship Earth, looking out over Epcot, admiring what Disney has done to it to this day. I actually think this is a really neat and respectful addition, so I'm glad they added this. It's something really small, but it means a lot. The new crazy giant table-looking building is indeed the new festival center with a park on top that I am assuming will be open during the day for everyone, but at night will close and become special seating for a dessert party or a party of that sort for the new Epcot show, Harmonious, but we'll talk about Harmonious in a little bit. The Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster was revealed as Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, and it was revealed to us that it would have a reverse launch. Essentially, imagine Rock and Roller Coaster, but you're facing the opposite way of where you're being launched at the beginning of the ride. It was also stated that the ride will have dark ride scenes and that the roller coaster cars will stop and swivel in order to view these show scenes a little bit easier. It's like the Incredicoaster dialed up to 11, essentially. And I really really gotta say, nothing here really looks bad to me. I think that the Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind is fantastic and a great use of the Marvel IP at Walt Disney World, since they don't really get that over there. So I'm excited to see this open, and I think it's a very worthy successor to the universe of Energy. Cosmic Rewind will be open in time for the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World in 2021. The new Play Pavilion that was formerly the Wonders of Life Pavilion will contain at least 2 new experiences: a water balloon fight between your favorite Disney characters that you participate in, and a Edna Mode fashion designer kind of course. And that's really all they gave us on the Play Pavilion. Meanwhile, over in World Nature, as we discovered on the first day of the conference, a new Moana walkthrough attraction entitled The Journey of Water will take guests from the land to the Sea Pavilion, or from Journey into Imagination to the Sea Pavilion. We don't really know where it starts, but we know it leads to the Sea Pavilion, so I think that's a really good thing. It adds a new attraction that you don't necessarily have to really wait in line for, and I think that's always good for a theme park. It's more of those experiences Walt himself would have come up with. Not everything has to be an e-ticket dark ride is something that I think a lot of people forget about, and I think this is going to be a very great addition to Epcot. Over in the World Showcase, not too much to talk about. Ratatouille is of course coming in the France Pavilion, and a new Beauty and the Beast sing-along is coming as well, not replacing Impressions de France, just alongside Impressions de France. I don't know what that's going to be. No one's really sure if it's going to be live action or a screen sort of movie, but I'm assuming that you're going to use the same theater, so a screen movie, perhaps? Again, no one really knows, and if someone says they do know, odds are it's Tom Corliss or WDW News Today, and odds are they're very wrong. Dick Van Dyke came out on stage to help announce a brand new ride in the UK Pavilion, a Mary Poppins themed ride. Not sure if it's a dark ride or something different. We're not sure what kind of ride it's going to be at this point, but we do know that the UK Pavilion is getting a Mary Poppins ride, and they will also be getting an area themed around Cherry Tree Lane from Mary Poppins. Replacing the bandstand area that currently exists, or a brand new area? Again, no one knows. I'm sorry, I keep saying that a lot. No one knows. They just announced that it's happening, just not how it's happening. But I really do have to say that it's about time Mary Poppins got her own ride in the parks and her own area, because it seems like it's been a long time coming, and the UK Pavilion at the World Showcase at Epcot, no better place to have it. Circling back to Harmonious, it's the show that's going to replace Epcot Forever once all of new Epcot is open, and I think that's a fantastic name. The show is going to be using a lot of drones, people are saying, and I think that's really a very valid prediction. They did say that Harmonious is the largest nighttime spectacular ever created for a Disney park, so set your expectations accordingly. This is going to be huge. Disney says that Harmonious will feature massive floating set pieces, custom-built LED panels, choreographed moving fountains, lights, pyrotechnics, lasers, and more. And that is what new Epcot has to offer. I'm sure they're going to continue to announce new things like what's going to happen to the Imagination Pavilion, and also a few more things opening in the World Showcase in the years to come, but that is all they announced during the panel. And with Epcot being my second favorite Disney park anywhere in the world that I have visited so far, this all sounds so good to me. Epcot is becoming less of the futuristic park and more of the humanity park, and I think that's a really good thing that Disney's leaning into. Epcot is going to be telling the story of people from all over the world, people from the past, present, and future, and it will also be telling the story of the planet, and I really couldn't see any other way Walt would have wanted it. Bob then announced Disney Genie. It's like a My Disney Experience Plus sort of app is what it looks like to me. It's going to help you make fast pass selections while making the whole experience a lot easier, and it's going to help you be where you need to be at the parks when you need to be there. Lots of people so far who I've talked to didn't really understand the point of this app, but let me tell you that planning if you're going to Disney World is very important. So Disney fans did what Disney fans did best and whined when they didn't really understand what the app was for. In my case, I'm really looking forward to it. It might be an upcharge, we don't know about that yet, but it looks like, basically like I said, a My Disney Experience and More app. It helps you do a lot of things way easier. It's also worth noting that the graphic on screen says Disney Genie Walt Disney World, so I think it's safe to assume that a Disney Genie Disneyland app will be coming in the future. They talked more about this Star Wars hotel that's being built at Walt Disney World and how immersive it's going to be. It's basically going to be a Galaxy's Edge 2 sort of scenario. So if you want to continue to experience your Galaxy's Edge story outside of the land, the Star Wars hotel is going to be for you. You're limited to a stay of 2 days and 2 nights, but also there are a finite amount of other people who can be in the hotel with you at one time. You have essentially what are boarding groups. A certain amount of rooms will sell out, and that group of people are going to be the only people in the hotel during those 2 days. Lots of other experiences in the hotel that I think look very interesting, but it's probably going to cost a pretty penny. The Disney Wish, a brand new Disney cruise ship, was announced along with Lighthouse Point, Disney's second sort of private island. It's not really a private island, it's more of a private area on an existing island, but it is Disney themed, and Joe Rohde is the creative designer behind this Lighthouse Point area. And if any Disney Imagineer at this point knows how to do island getaways correctly, it's Joe Rohde. And that was more or less the end of the panel. And they did talk about a lot of amazing things during this Parks panel, but they did miss one specific thing that I was keeping an eye out for. With the yellow rocks at the entrance of Tomorrowland being removed, a lot of people were looking forward to an announcement of a new, revamped Tomorrowland at Disneyland. Of course, we didn't get that. So, the People Mover is dead until further notice, everyone. Sorry about that. I hoped that it would happen, but I knew deep down that it wasn't really plausible for it to happen, and it's not going to happen for probably a long time. They're really focusing on Epcot, but who knows, maybe at D23 2021, after the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World is over, they'll announce a new refurbished Tomorrowland and a new living, breathing, moving People Mover. Either that, or Tomorrowland at Disneyland is doomed to fade into outdated obscurity. But what did you guys all think of the Disney Parks D23 panel this year? Were you happy? Were you satisfied? Or were you upset that they didn't mention more, or that they're changing something that you enjoyed? Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to be talking with some people down there. I want to contribute to the discussion, and that is all I have to say about the Parks panel this year. Thank you guys all so much for watching this rather long, sort of boring video. If you like my opinions on things on D23 and the parks, and as always, I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.